we have just found out what is the GCF, or greatest common factor, of 36 and 54. Our next task is to find out what is the LCM, or the least common multiple, between these two numbers. There are several ways to do it, but the quickest way to do it is to do it like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this out here. And the question is, what is the LCM, or the least common multiple, of 36 and 54? And the quickest way to do it is to figure it out like this. What is 36 times 54 divided by, guess what, the GCF of these two numbers? And in this case, the GCF of these two numbers turns out to be 18. Now this looks kind of ugly, because 36 times 54 is a pretty big number. But one thing we can do is to say, let's not figure out what is the product between 36 and 54. Let's figure out what is the quotient of 54 divided by 18 first. Now that's easier to figure out, because 54 divided by 18 turns out to be just 3. So the answer is 36 times 3, which in this case is 108. This is a really quick method to find the LCM between two numbers, once we already know what is the GCF, or the greatest common factor, between those two numbers. And that's a pretty short video clip to show you how to find that. Let's go ahead and try another method. Let's try another method to find out what is the LCM of 36 and 54. And before we do that, let's go ahead and change the color of all of these bubbles back to the default, which is white. Okay, what we want to do to find the LCM between these two numbers is to cover up all of these numbers. Okay, we basically want to say we count this 2 here, and we count this 2 here. Okay, we change both of these to a certain color. We change these to yellow, and we want to count this 3, and it has a matching 3 here. So we change those 3 to the color, pretty much the same way as we find a GCF. And then we find this 3 here, and it is paired up with another 3 on the other side, and it is also 3 here. Now what we have here remaining are the two numbers that do not match. There's a 2 here, and there's a 3 here. So what we need to do in this case is to say, well, since this 2 cannot be matched up, we have to multiply it. So, and since this 3 is also not matched, we also have to multiply that. And so the answer in this case is 2 times 3 times 3 times 2 times 3. And that turns out to be 18 times 6, which is also 108. But this method is not nearly as easy as just multiplying the two numbers and then divide the product by the GCF of those two numbers. In the next example, let's go ahead and look at the GCF and the LCM of another pair of numbers. And this concludes this demonstration of how to find the LCM of 36 and 54.